Thanks to the supporters of channel member AD Richardson. Yeah, Dortmund. I think that's about as good as we could have hoped for. They're not even in the Champions League qualification spot for next season. And here's us trying to win the Premier League a second season in a row. I am quietly hopeful, Mrs Wearmouth. Welcome to part 167 of Homegrown. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have both legs of our Champions League quarter-final against Borussia Dortmund. Since you were last with me, we've continued not losing. I mean, we did lose against Man United, but that was in the last episode. We got the draw against Milan, which you also saw. The draw against Liverpool was a little bit disappointing in there because it does mean that we've dropped off the top of the Premier League for the first time in a long time. We do have a game in hand and a better goal difference than Manchester City, so fingers crossed in our in-betweeny match against Everton today, we'll jump back to the top of the Premier League. But remember, the Premier League this season isn't even our top priority. Our top priority is winning the Champions League for the first time. And we've got Dortmund in the quarterfinal, a Dortmund team who are currently fifth in Bundesliga. So potentially not even going to qualify for the Champions League next year. This should be a team that we're capable of beating. Who did they beat in the last round? So they knocked out Paris Saint-Germain. Okay, maybe it won't be completely straightforward. This is what the rest of the quarterfinal looks like. So Manchester City facing Hertha, Bayern Munich against Tottenham. Tottenham actually ahead after the first leg against Bayern, and Bayer Leverkusen, one of our previous season's nemesises, are drawing after the first leg against Manchester United. So, I mean, the way it's looking so far, if us and Man City do our bit, it could be an all-English semi-final. And as the team who have, I won't say dominated the Premier League, but we've done all right against these teams domestically for the last couple of years, an all-English semi-final might not be the worst thing in the world for us. It's better the devil you know and all that kind of stuff. So let's go get there first. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We've got to beat Dortmund twice to get there, and that's what we're going to set about doing. This is our team, and as you can see, Enoch Abagai is having to play at left back for us. I mean, he's not having to play. We could play Pedro Guerrero. Where is he? Could we play Pedro Guerrero? We could play Pedro Guerrero, but Primus, who is now an England international, is injured. He's played a couple of times for injured, so Primus is out. Guerrero as an inverted wing back is an option, but I'm thinking Abagai, who's played as a wing back for Inter Milan for years and years at this point, I think he's probably a better bet for a Champions League game than bringing in the untried at this level youngster. And Erkan, of course, who can just slot straight in for Abagai at centre-back, has played there a gazillion times as well. So potentially a little bit of a risk, but hopefully Primus, I mean, he's probably not going to be back for the second leg either. Maybe for the semi-final if we get there. The other new international that we've got is Juan Jose, who at 23 is finally getting the international recognition he's deserved. Played his first 2 games for Spain in the most recent window, and he's now attracting attention from some big clubs and Norwich. So let's get the team introduced. We're away from home in the first leg. We are looking, as ever, to keep it tight or win. We don't want to lose here. That's the important thing. So it's Perez in goal, a back four of Abagai, Elias, Erkan and Vinicius Antonio. Perez and Kleber in midfield. Ian and Park out wide, and then Juan Jose and Veloso up front. We're also we're missing McKenna. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks as well with a twisted ankle, which is why Perez slots back into that midfield. If anything, I'm more worried about the central midfield situation than I am at what's going on at left back. I think Abagai has enough experience and quality to be able to play anywhere across that back four in the system that we want to play him in to a pretty high standard. We played Abagai at left back quite a lot when he was here with us in his first spell, and he spent 5 years playing right back for Inter. I think it's probably, you could argue he's better suited to playing at full back than centre back. I wouldn't, because he's our awesome centre back who does that role so very well, but Erkan can do that role well as well. We've got lots of flexibility in our full backs, centre backs, defenders in general. What we don't have is McKenna in that central midfield to be our tough tackling presence. We've got Perez, who's played as a deep line playmaker for a long time, but, you know, he's an attacking midfielder / winger. He's never going to be a tough tackler. Kleber's definitely tough, but also more of an attacking player. We've basically got 2 wingers playing at central midfield today and a centre-back at left-back. It's fine. Abagai trying to be clever with the free kick.
Despite there being 4 wingers on the field, he aims for the wings and nobody is there to pick up the ball. And it's not Bayern, it's Dortmund. They're basically the same. They're all German teams. It's Dortmund who are... Hi, Germany. How you doing? It's Dortmund who get the attack, but we've actually won the ball back here. And Kleber in midfield plays it forward to Juan Jose, out to Abagai, and now back to Elias again. Kleber forward to Juan Jose, who's got options, uses Abagai as one of them. And he's cutting infield, gives it to Perez. And now Perez back to Abagai again. Kleber, Veloso. This is a lovely move. Ian is in and Ian scores. It's a 12th goal of the season for Ian. It's a nice little through ball from Veloso. It was lovely play in the build up to that. So many players having a touch on the ball there. It must have been 10, 15 passes without Dortmund being able to get close to winning the ball back, really. It's not as if they're getting close to any of these players. And Ian in again, the way he does so well with a little finish to put us 1-0 up. A very valuable away goal to start things off in this first leg. It's still 0-0 between Manchester City and Hertha in the other big England versus Germany battle in the quarterfinals here. But we'll take this. We'll have a full-time whistle now. Thank you very much. It's a slightly weakened team because of the changes we've had to make, albeit changes that are probably going to still be in place for the second leg. But a win is a win. Away from home in the Champions League knockouts, we'll take this. Absolutely. Juan Jose looks to cross to Park. Couldn't get his shot past the first defender, and now Dortmund looking for a counter-attack. I say they're looking for a counter-attack. In order to counter-attack, you need to leave at least one man forward. They didn't, so it was more of a clearance. That ended up with the ball coming straight back into their half, and Juan Jose with a header that goes just over the bar from the resulting cross. I think Dortmund are going to have to be a little bit more ambitious in this second half if they're going to get anything out of this game. And you've got to think it's their home game. They've got to be looking to get something here, unless they're just kind of rolling over and accepting their fate, which seems like a weird thing to do for a team that potentially won't even be in this competition next year unless they go on and win it. They've kind of got to go all or nothing, whereas we're competing on 2 fronts. It's a weird way for Dortmund to approach the tie so far. Veloso playing it over to Ian, who's got space on the left. He's got Juan Jose inside of him, but Ian decides to go it alone, but the shot ends up a little bit too high and a little bit too wide. We're going to have a look to see what the substitution situation is. We're not messing around with set piece takers, although looking at that, you can tell I've not updated that for a few seasons. We should probably do that at some point. Right, what are we going to do? Kleber and Park both tired. Park for Figueira is easy. Kleber for either Jovanovic or Camacho, less easy. I guess Vinicius Antonio could come forward. That's a bad idea. Jovanovic has played that box-to-box midfield role plenty of times over the last couple of seasons now, so we can stick him in there. It's now a striker playing in central midfield instead of the winger that was there before. Now Veloso is trying to get clear of his defender here. I mean, he did well to get himself into a shooting position, but then the shot itself was very tame and straight into the hands of the Dortmund goalkeeper. It's now Abagai with a throw, 15 minutes remaining. A second goal would be very helpful for us as when it comes to preparing for that second leg. And Veloso's in, and that's another big miss for Sandro Veloso. I know in total he's still scoring lots of goals, but like I've said before, I don't know if it's all in my head, but I swear he's missing more big chances than he did before, off the back of being unhappy at the club. I don't think I'm making that up. Final change, we're going to bring Madness on for Ian because Ian is getting tired as well, so Madness can come on for him. Abagai with the throw, looking for Madness, but it ends up with Jovanovic back in midfield, who is trying to find options ahead of him. Figueira is definitely one of them. Jovanovic, lovely through ball to Madness. I mean, he's tried an absolutely absurd finish there. If that goes in, it's one of the greatest goals in Football Manager history. As it is, he was both offside and scuffed it. So, you know, just kick it properly next time, Madness. You're a kid still trying to get into this team in a Champions League quarterfinal. It's not the time to try and be that fancy. Thanks. Remains 1-0, 5 minutes remaining. If we concede here, I think we've got to be very, very disappointed with how tonight has gone. Elias back to Perez, now Abagai, who's looked completely comfortable and at ease playing at left back. Madness trying to play Veloso in, but it's a poor pass again from him. Madness has not impressed since coming on. Dortmund are in here, and there is your equaliser, and that's probably the first time all evening. Maybe Abagai's been found out just a smidgen. Is that Abagai?
It is Abagai. Yeah, I don't know. Does a proper left back stop this from happening? Let's have a little look. So there's Abagai. That's the guy who ultimately scores, I think. He's just let him get in behind him. Well, does Pedro Guerrero stop that? That's the question. Juan Jose to Erkan. And I question how Dortmund were approaching the game, and they'll be completely satisfied. Their game plan has come off to a T here. I mean, we'd have taken 1-1 before the game because it's an away goal. We've got our home leg coming up. If they score again, this is disastrous. Perez does make the save, but we're missing. That was the first time we'd really missed Primus today. Jovanovic doing well to win the ball back in midfield. We could do with a late winner here. Just, I guess, leave the game with a fair reflection of what's actually happened on the pitch. We've been the better team comfortably. Figueira now trying to help us get that winning goal. Vinicius Antonio plays it back to Perez, who's got time. In fact, plays it over to Jovanovic, who slots it into Juan Jose. Madness this time has learnt from his nonsense from before, and this time does just put his foot through it. It ends up in the back of the net, and that is a very good finish from Madness, and it's another very nice goal. There were a couple of times there I questioned why we were looking to play the pass rather than taking the shot. Jovanovic in particular there looked like he had time to tee up a shot. But once it's into Juan Jose in space, he's got Madness one side of him, Veloso the other. He just had to pick an option and slot through the best killer ball. I mean, it could have gone to any of those three players who'd all kept themselves onside, and it could have gone to any of them, and he gives it to Madness, and Madness is the one who ultimately grabs the goal. For goodness sake, what's that? How has this ended 2-2? I don't understand. We've been so much better than them. How have they scored twice? I mean, I don't even understand what's happened there. Well, 2-2. It leaves us with a job to do in the second leg. We're still in control of the tie, I think. But we should be well ahead. Right, I'm going to play Everton off camera. Hopefully pick up a win, go back to the top of the Premier League, and then we'll be back for that second leg shortly. So a few pieces of news going into the second leg against Dortmund. We beat Everton 5-0, but we're not top of the Premier League because Manchester City were playing at the same time, which I didn't realise. I assumed that was going to be our game in hand, but they actually played it earlier in the day than us. But a 5-0 win means it is very much a two-horse race. 5 games left for us, a game in hand, 1 point behind, 10 goal advantage on the goal difference. We're backing ourselves there. Also, as you can see, Sandro Veloso, now on 36 goals for the season, means he has broken Henry Barton's record of 36 league goals in a season, but for some reason it hasn't ticked over onto here. Maybe that happens at the end of the season, I'm not sure, but at the moment it's still showing as Barton. We know Veloso has now broken that record. The most overall goals in a season record is 48. Veloso now on 45. So 4 goals against Dortmund, and he breaks another club record as well. And we've also done a little bit more transfer business as we continue to cash in on fringe players. You've seen us do it with Fazekas, Sydney. Now Marcelo Antonio has gone back to Brazil, a £23 million move. So another player we've brought in, kept at the club for 5 years, loaned out a lot and sold on at a profit. It's a good system for keeping the flow of money in the club. And we've actually got a transfer budget right now of £92 million just sat there with no one to spend it on. With another £40 million coming in next season. And for next season's budget, we could go and buy someone exceptional. Should we bring Kovacic back? Probably won't bring Kovacic back, although it would be handy for this game because once again, we are going to be without, what's his face, Primus at left back. So this is the team for the second leg against Dortmund. Changing the defence round a little bit this time, trying Erkan at left back, Abagai centre back, Pedro Guerrero once again, probably a little bit disappointed to miss out, but we did play him in the Everton game. I just don't think Champions League quarterfinals for a guy who's played, he's started 11 games for us. I want the experience, I think. Kleber's not fully fit, which isn't ideal either, but we're going with Perez in goal. Oh, one other thing I wanted to show you. Juan Jose. Because I wanted to have a look to see if anyone had made it into the Dream 11 yet. Obviously, no one has. The media think we're going to finish 7th and we have no one in the Dream 11. But Juan Jose, now considered the 4th best player in the Premier League. So it's only the fact that the 2 best players are both strikers.
that keeps Juan Jose out of the media dream 11. Our next best player is Park, who, again, being kept out on the right wing by a guy who's like the 5th or 6th best player in the league. But yeah, Juan Jose, very, very highly thought of by the media, it seems, which is lovely. So Perez in goal, back four of Ercan, Elias, Abagai, Vinicius, Antonio, Perez and Kleber in midfield, Madness coming in on the left-hand side because Ian is tired off the back of the Everton game, Park on the right, and then Juan Jose and Veloso up front. So Madness for Ian is the only change from the previous leg against Dortmund, but we have shuffled around how the defence is working. I probably, if McKenna had been fit, would be playing Kleber on the left wing in this game with Guerrero, Pedro Guerrero in as an inverted wing back, and I'd be much more comfortable doing that. But in the circumstances of needing Kleber in central midfield because of no McKenna, I need the only other options I've got on the left wing are all players who cut inside. So I need a left back who's going to stay wide. We don't have a natural left footer to do it. That's why we asked Abagai to do it in the last game, Ercan to do it this game. Kleber, forget about any of that nonsense. Kleber's in again with a very important header from a set piece. Did that say an 8th goal of the season for him? I would suggest all 8 look absolutely identical to this one. He is just a huge threat from these near post corners, and that puts us 1-0 up on the night, 3-2 up on aggregate, and another step closer towards a second successive Champions League semi-final. That's right, isn't it? We got to the semi-final last year, I think. Juan Jose trying to be a little bit too clever to play Veloso in there, and Veloso not quite alert to it. But that's Ercan. Was it Ercan? No. Who's number 20? Kleber doing some good defensive work there, which is nice to see, I guess. Madness trying to do some closing down as well. We do need Kleber to basically play that McKenna role in there today and be the tackler, because Perez just isn't going to be. Park now on the right-hand side. And Park has got Veloso ahead of him. He slots it through to Veloso. Veloso shoots and scores. Number 46 for the year. He's 3 away from the record now. And it's only the quarterfinal. I said it earlier on in the year. If he stays fit, it is a foregone conclusion that record gets broken. The question is, how much is he going to break it by the way he's scoring goals? And that's a much better finish than we've seen from him in recent camera matches anyway. He got a couple of goals against Everton and looked as good as he ever has, but we saw him fluff his lines a little bit in the first leg against Dortmund. But that's not an easy goal to score, but Veloso usually makes it look easy, and he did again there. And 2-0 at the half-hour mark, and this is much more like it. Dortmund not getting a look in tonight. We did the professional job we needed to do in that first leg, and now we're just going to thump them today, and it's lovely. Perez playing it forward to Abagai, who does seem much happier and more comfortable playing in his centre-back role. Elias forward to Kleber, and now Ercan, and Elias again, and now Ercan again. Look at it. We're doing this thing again where we just knock it around everybody. Perez now back to Elias. We're just taking our time, waiting for a spot to emerge, and they will. The movement we have in this team, a free player will appear. Park does well to keep the move going, and it's an own goal, and it's 3-0. And Dortmund are done at this point. 3-0 on the night, 5-2 on aggregate, not even half-time. They put up a brave fight in the first leg. Park does brilliantly there because it was the first not perfect pass of this passage of play that led to us having the ball for quite a long time. But Park, as good as he is, managed to make a poor pass better than it was, kept hold of the ball and created a goal with it, because that's just what Park does. Out on that right-hand side, the man is a genius. Right, how are we doing for fitness levels? Because I want to win the Premier League as well. I don't want anyone getting too tired to play in the next game in the Premier League. We're good at the moment. Need to keep an eye on Juan Jose. He's had to come off with red conditioning in the last couple of games. Probably didn't need to play him against Everton, but if we'd have been top of the league, I probably wouldn't have done. It was such a must-win game against Everton because we want to win the Premier League as well, that kind of felt I had to play him. He's arguably our best player. Not that you'd know it from tonight. And I think this is probably going to be a good opportunity to give Juan Jose an early rest again today. Likewise, Park. Figueira can come on for him. Kleber, Diaz can come on for Kleber. No, we will leave him that way around. And I am going to take off Juan Jose as well. Jovanovic can come on for him, and we'll just freshen all three of those positions up. No reason to bring Ian on. The job is already done for this evening, so Madness can get a full 90 in a Champions League quarter-final, which is excellent experience for him. Veloso also getting to stay on as he continues to try and break the record, because we want that record broken sooner rather than later. Even though he still officially wants away, we want him to break everything, don't we? We at the end of this series, there's already people, every time I mention Henry Barton, there's people going, who's Henry Barton? I don't remember him. Go and rewatch the first season or two. You'll remember who Henry Barton was. But he's not going to be a big player that we remember for years to come in the style of Christian Gomez or Vladislav Lazarov or these players from previous years. Sandro Veloso, I think, is somebody who he'd have a very strong shout for getting in the all-time LOLLUJO best 11. And I think because of that, it'd be nice to see him break a whole ton of records. Dortmund trying to get in for a consolation goal here. It's back off the crossbar, and that just about sums up their evening. Nothing's really come off for them. Not that they've tried much. I said in the first leg that they weren't very ambitious going forward, and they've certainly not really shown any desire to get back into this game tonight, mainly because we've not let them. We've played very, very well. And here's Madness. A goal would cap off a nice performance for him, but Veloso's in and he's going to grab the goal. I mean, I want to say it was a great pass from Madness. I don't think it was. I think he's just hit it forward and then knows how quick Veloso is and knows there's a good chance he'll make it look better than it was. Because he's just poked it forward. Veloso has no right to it. He's not even running in the right direction. There's 3 Dortmund players, including the goalkeeper, all closer to the ball as it enters the penalty area. But Veloso somehow gets there first on his weak foot and turns it in from a difficult angle. He is, I'm calling it now. He is the best striker I have ever had in Football Manager. Officially announcing that now. He's better than Ruben Iribarren. He's better. I mean, I guess he would have been the previous best ever. He is the best striker. He's obviously better than Mick Powell, which some of you will get upset about, but he's the best we've ever had. And his attributes aren't even that good. That's what I love most about him. So we now have the semi-final coming up. I don't know if we're going to get the draw. Oh, we've already had the draw. So the semi-final is going to be against Bayer Leverkusen or Manchester United. I think they play the second leg tomorrow, actually. So let's just fast forward, see who wins. I think it's 1-1 after the first leg, which was the Bayer Leverkusen home leg, if I remember rightly. So Manchester United in control. They are the last team we want to see ourselves coming up against at this stage of this tournament. There's a lot of players who need contracts being offered there. Can you just do this for me? Why is it not being done for me? I'll come back and do that in a minute. Oh, there you go. Because these are youth players. That's why. He's quite good, isn't he? He's just come through the youth system. There's no point doing name in a game at the moment. I mean, if you've got a name in a game that you're owed and you really want Claudio Bailey, go for it. Let me know. But he's probably never going to play for the first team because I think we're going to win the Champions League this year or next year. Finally might have the long-term successor in goal as well, Emmett McKeever. Looks like he's going to be pretty useful. But like I say, I don't expect any of them not to play at this point. But yeah, can we have the Champions League draw? It's not the draw. We're waiting for a game to be played. So there you go. Manchester United versus Bayer Leverkusen. And we want to avoid United if we can. We can't. Of all the teams, once again, it comes down to a clash with Manchester United, the last team to beat us, and the last team to beat us before that as well. Have they beaten us 3 times this year? No, we beat them earlier in the year. They are our nemesises, our bogey team. I guess if we're going to win the Champions League, we've got to be better than Manchester United at some point, but it is that all-English semi-final that I speculated it might be. And we believe we're the best team in the Premier League. So maybe it's this year. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.